Welcome back inside our New York studios. Brent Stover alongside Kevin Carter and Cardale Jones. Among the many massive showdowns across the country in Saturday number 12 took place in the SEC top 10 battle. Arch Manning in Texas paying a visit to Athens against Gunner Stockton and the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs. Kirby Smart, final SEC game of the year, looking to get into the clubhouse at 7-1 in the conference. Gunnar Stockton for Noah Thomas in the end zone. Bulldogs up 7-3, Kevin.
Yeah, Stockton is going to throw a dart to Thomas for a touchdown. Bulldogs up 14-3 in the third quarter, 14-3. Stockton looking over the middle of the field. He's going to be picked off by Anthony Hill Jr. Longhorns down 14-3, a little life.
Yeah, the following possession, Arch Manning goes back with a little play action. He has Ryan Wingo in the end zone as the Longhorns close in on this deficit, and then Stockton delivers a strike to Humphries for the 30-yard score. Surprise, surprise, Kirby Smart dialing things up as he usually does. Offside kick, Georgia recover, execute perfection. Stockton then finds another target in the back of the end zone as Georgia wins this one big, 35-10, and then last touchdown to see here, Stockton calling his own number, making a guy miss.
Gunnar Stockton, 24-29, 229, and 4 touchdowns with the 1 pick. Easy victory. Arch Manning, 27-43, 251, a touchdown and a pick. For the Georgia Bulldogs, able to get 128 on the ground. Texas, just 23 rushing yards. And Georgia was able to spread it around as 8 different guys made at least 1 catch. Good all-around win. They are 9-1. They finish SEC play at 7-1. They will finish out the regular season with a home game against Charlotte, then on the road at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta against a very good Georgia Tech team. But what they have put on their resume, the body of work in the SEC, got to feel pretty good about it, Kevin.
This is not the same team that won back-to-back national championships. This is not. But they're playing like it, right? Georgia does not make mistakes. And if you go into a game and you commit 8 penalties in the first 3 quarters of the game, you turn the ball over and you're not able to control the line of scrimmage, Georgia will do exactly what they did to you today. This Georgia team is built right on both sides of the ball. Can't put this all on Arch Manning. I counted at least 4 to 5 passes that got dropped by his skill guys in the first half alone. But, man, they could not control the line of scrimmage. Quintravian Wisner had 37 yards on the day. I think they amounted to like a measly 23 yards rushing with all the sacks that came along with this. There were 4 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss. And this was not, just going to be the, unveiling of Arch Manning going out to beat Georgia. This was Georgia playing like the Georgia team of old that won national championships.
Georgia has had one bad half of college football this first 10, 11 weeks, 12 weeks of college football season, and that's the first half versus Alabama. If you guys remember, they dominated that second half, but that deficit they put themselves in was just a hole that was too deep to really climb out of. Georgia is playing some of the best football that we have seen all around college football, and it starts with Gunner Stockton. When they can run the ball efficiently, in getting him involved in the run game, we saw him having a touchdown using his legs early and really extending plays and being that real threat +1 in the running game. This offense is tough to start. 5 total touchdowns and 1 interception today, as you see his stats up there. These are championship-type numbers for a player that really haven't had an opportunity to be on that type of level, but he's pushing this offense and pushing this team to continue to be considered one of the top teams in college football.
Yeah, to me, I'm thinking that Gunnar Stockton is doing his best Stetson Bennett impression, right? He's got the efficiency, but it's not just the efficiency. It's the +1 in the run game, and it's also the decision-making process, right? Choosing to extend plays, choosing to run and slide, choosing to whatever he does with the football, his decision-making process has evolved from where we saw him at the beginning of the season, maybe that bad first half against Alabama, to now playing one of the best at the position probably in the country in terms of efficiency and managing the game. Nate Frazier came on big in the run game, and they're starting to look like they got a couple of, 2 or 3-headed monsters in the backfield for them as well. This Georgia team is playing right at the right time. It's November. This is the time when you need to play your best football. Everyone's seen your body of work, and it didn't matter today as you go out and play Georgia. They look like the boa constrictor that just strangles the life out of their opponents.
27 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, and 71% with the completion rate. What a season it has been for Gunnar Stockton. By the way, we talked about doing everything right, including the little things. 9 penalties for Texas. Obviously, this was a national championship caliber team we felt like coming into the season. They commit 9 penalties. Georgia only 1. Georgia never seems to kill themselves, and it shown brightly in this game as well here today. And now they are able to kind of not relax because you got Georgia Tech on the horizon, but you've got the body of work. Like we said, you're in the clubhouse at 7-1, an opportunity to perhaps play for an SEC title. But if you don't, you've talked about the fact that Georgia, you could still get into the playoff, and it might benefit you to not have to play the SEC championship.
Yeah, I totally agree. That path to the national championship game may look a little different. Heck, you may have the opportunity to host a home game in Athens. You know how already tough it is to win, for road teams to come in there and win games, and add it to the environment and then the atmosphere of a college football playoff home game. This would be a tough atmosphere for anybody in college football. So Georgia, yeah, they control their own destiny. Far as start to say, we saw Alabama drop one, but Alabama was still on the tiebreaker between Georgia if they were talking about the SEC championship game. But it's not the end of the world like the old way of college football if you don't win your conference championship.
Dogs on defense, man. What'd you think?
I was just about to go there. Look, the whole defense for Georgia, and this is why I said what I said to open up this whole segment about them not being personnel-wise on par with, the 15 guys that get drafted in the NFL, but it's like they're playing like they are. They're playing never out of place, never making a mistake, hands placement out of place, no one's out of gap. And Georgia understands something fundamentally that most teams don't. They understand how to tackle. And they understand how to tackle in space. You will never not have a Georgia defender or guys in space going to attack the ball carrier and not have someone cutting off the ball carrier and have someone filling the alley and someone taking the cutback angle. There are 3 points of pressure on every time that someone gets tackled, and they don't miss tackles. So you're not going to, your best chance to beat Georgia is for your one-on-one skill position guys to outdo the person that they're playing, but it rarely happens. Like I said, they don't have top shelf personnel, but man, this Georgia team, defensively is not making any mistakes. And to me, playing that type of defense at this time of the year makes them a championship caliber team.
Fewest rush yards allowed by that defense all season long in this game against Texas. Quickly here in our final minute, let's talk about Texas. This is 3 losses now, 4-2 in the SEC. That's a pretty dang good season. You're home against Arkansas, and then you close against third-ranked A&M on the road. What do you make of Texas? What do they need to do here for this to be considered a successful season?
I think they ultimately need to win out. Because that's the expectation, the standards of a Texas football program, and definitely renewing that rivalry with A&M and have an opportunity to knock off one of the, A&M at that point can potentially be the 1, 2, or 3 seed team in all of college football. And you go in there and you knock them off at home, you starting those conversations right back up of you being in the college football playoff.
And it is a home game for Texas. I had that wrong. So 2 back-to-back home games to close the season here, Kevin. Yeah. Very winnable. You can finish 9-3 in the regular season.
You can finish 9-3, and I see Texas sort of as last year's Alabama team, right? They were on the verge, knocking on the door. I think 10-2 safely gets you in the SEC and the Big Ten, for that matter, to the college football playoff. But they could be that team right on the outside. And look, with everything going on with the Group of 5 and the ACC, there might just be room for that 5th SEC team to make it in, and it could be Texas.
Well, on this day, it was way too much from Georgia. 35-10 was the final there in Athens.